So living intrinsically means that you're living in a way where you're aligned with your core self. So your core values, the things that truly drive you and light you up. So whatever lights you up is it really is getting to the nub of what is important to you, where your values are. So a really good question to ask yourself is, would I be doing this anyway? Would I do this if there was no paycheck, if nobody was watching, there was no approval, there's no status in this. I'm just doing this because it feels good in my body. I'm really enjoying it. There's no come back to this. So if you're doing something for somebody else, it's because then they will either help you in the future or love you more or think more of you. So constantly going back to this, would I do this anyway? What's the reason? What's the true reason for you acting in this way? And because the paycheck, the praise, the approval, the making sure that somehow you've got some conditions around your relationship, those are the extrinsic rewards that we want to put in place. And there's nothing wrong with those, except when they're out of alignment with our intrinsic values, with really what truly lights us up. That's when we end up with that sense of either feeling a bit bitter or resentful that we've done something, you've behaved in a certain way and you've not got the return that you were expecting, or the paycheck's gone and therefore all the motivation's gone, or you didn't quite get the praise that you were expecting at that time. And even if you do, you're still on the alert for the next time, and now the next step, and now there's more. And when we get into that, the extrinsic and the intrinsic are really out of balance. However, when you start really from what lights you up, what brings you joy, what brings you that sense of peace and contentedness, whatever you do and whatever extrinsic rewards you receive from that is really going to bring that sense of satisfaction, surprise and delight, or that feeling of success that is right for you. That's not constantly in that wanting or the next thing or just making sure that you're keeping life even. So that question is the time when you really start to reflect, when you give yourself that time to check in, how am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And actually finding your why is also going to help you when there are things that you don't particularly enjoy, you don't want to do, but they're part of life. When you find the reason why you're doing it, there'll always be something underneath that is connected to your core. I might not be enjoying this job right now, but what are the things that are giving me some intrinsic reward? Even when you get to that, understanding that why doesn't mean you're necessarily just going to stop there, but you're going to still be in touch with, have I just completely lost the plot here? Am I just doing this job because someone else told me that this is the path that I should be following? That I'm so scared that I'm not going to find anything else. It's those kind of questions. Why am I doing this? What is that intrinsic reward, and where is that light in me that goes, oh yeah, that felt right. And this also takes practice. It takes getting to know yourself, because there is a fine line between knowing, is this really coming from me, or am I so conditioned to being filled from the outside that I've lost like really what lights me up. And as a coach, I see this a lot, that actually often the first step of really getting on the path that's fulfilling and really enriches your life is simply finding out really who you are at your core and what really brings you that true joy. And we're very conditioned in our culture to not be selfish. You know, you can't just go off and do what you want and leave this wake of destruction in your path. And actually, you won't do that if you're truly connected to your core. You know, and if you are leaving, destruction in your path, then chances are you're going after that extrinsic reward, and it's fear snapping at your heels and not that sense of peace and contentedness. And really getting to know this line, really getting to know yourself, it takes reflection. It takes a practice where you can wipe the slate clean each day. You can get into that state of calm, get beneath the layers, get to know yourself. So educating yourself on your potential and what's there for you, and also acting in accordance with your findings so you can experiment. Because often what we do is, and I really see this as a coach, and I certainly have experienced this for myself, that you kind of realize something, I know that I'd love to do this, however, and your mind jumps in, I can't because, and you've got all these reasons, and they're your conditionings, why you can't do this. And the more you get into practice and practice those small steps of action into starting to align yourself with your real core values, with your true sense of feeling content and happiness and joy, you get to know that, and your body can whisper louder to you, and you get in touch with that real yes no dial with you, that inner compass that wants to keep leading you on a path where you will really get in touch with your gifts, with your true potential. So living intrinsically is a journey. It's not something we just decide to do one day. It's an exploration, it's an experiment. But the fantastic thing about really embracing this is it gets easier because it gets more joyful. As you get more connected, you're also more cooperative. You're more likely to give people the benefit of the doubt, be able to find strong boundaries. So you really are caring for yourself, and you're not people pleasing. So it's a win-win, because when we're all living from our core, that's when we're going to create more harmony and balance, kindness and compassion in the world. So it starts with you aligning your intrinsic reward with your extrinsic is one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself and for everybody else. My name's Leanne Campbell. I'm a life and wellbeing coach, and I specialize in somatic practices. I'm also a co-creator of a Handpicked Life. If you'd like to know more about us and dive deeper into what we do, there's a free workshop you can sign up for below. And this goes into the principles of reflection, practice, and action, which really helps you to get in onto that path that will help you to lead an intrinsically led life. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy the workshop and everything that it brings you beyond. Thank you.